Have you ever struggled to put a garment on because it's been too tight in the neck or in the shoulders? Many designers overlook this really important topic in pattern making, leading to unpractical and uncomfortable clothing. And that's the opening of the garment. How is the wearer going to be putting the garment on? Let's discuss essential measurements in pattern making when it comes to garment openings. And we'll also discuss common locations for openings. So what's the purpose of a garment opening? Well, it's to get the garment on, either over the head or up from the legs. The main types of openings that are used are zippers, buttons, hooks and eyes, lacing, snaps, or self-tie closures. So let's talk about these different options. We have so many different zipper type options when it comes to openings. If you think about a regular fly of a pair of pants, like a pair of jeans, you might have a metal zipper on the fly to get the pants on. Let's think of some other openings. You might have an invisible zipper on a dress. This is hidden into the seam, and it could be on the side seam or at the center back. So a very common zipper is called an invisible zipper. That's this one here, where the teeth are on the back side of the zipper. We see the fabric goes all the way edge to edge here, and when we look at a garment with an invisible zipper, we don't see the zipper at all. It's totally invisible. So here, this is an invisible zipper. This is also an invisible zipper. We see the coil on the back side, and we don't see anything on the front side. Other types of zippers could include a regular coil zipper, and this could also be at the side seam or center back on a dress. So a regular coil zipper can also be found on pants and jeans and things like that. We can see it in that this skirt is a single placket, and the placket is covering up the zipper. This would be the same thing, except we have fabric coming on each side covering up that zipper. So here we can see a regular zipper on a fly, J-fly, and the J-fly is covering up the regular coil zipper. You can see how to draw the J-stitch in the pants and trousers section. What about jackets and coats? We can have multiple different types of zippers. The most common types of zippers in jackets and coats, or mid-layers like this, could be a regular coil, reverse coil, or a molded zipper. This is called a reverse coil, meaning the coil is on the back side of the zipper and it looks clean on the front side. This most commonly is set into a pocket like this. So it's nice and clean from the outside. There are no teeth exposed. Then we have what's called a Vislon or a molded zipper, and this is shown at the center front of this jacket here. And to see how to sketch this, you could refer back to these images here. These are a bit thicker zippers found on the front pockets and the patch pocket. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and thumbs up so it spreads to more people. I really appreciate it. Let's talk about closures with buttons. Buttons or snaps often are at the center front of blouses, jackets, or coats, and they could also be on the fly of a pair of pants or jeans. Button or snap closures could also be used on skirts, most of the time in the front of the garment. So besides zippers, we also have buttons and buttonholes. We have a shank button and loops, or we can also use a shank for jeans and pants. So we have this here. This is called a shank button, and the shank is this part here. It is raised above so that the buttonhole can easily stay on. It's a very strong kind of button for pants or jeans. Shank buttons could also be sewn on instead of pinned on with the back. Let's talk about lacing. Lacing is most commonly used in corsetry. However, we can take that as inspiration to add that sort of design detail to dresses or skirts or any sort of corsetry type top. Another type of lacing or tie closure could be a self-tie closure. And this is where you can create a knot or a bow to tighten the garment and keep it in place. You could consider a drawstring on a pair of pants as tightening the closure, or at the top of a keyhole opening on the center back or center front of a garment. What about a hook and eye closure? Well, hook and eye closures are most notably known for bra closures. So if you consider what a bra closure is with a hook and eye, these small metal trim pieces could also be used in corsetry or any sort of really tight fitting garment. Hooks and eyes can also be used at the top of zippers, most notably on the top of an invisible zipper for a dress when we want to make sure that that zipper will not open. Another type of closure that you could think of as closing the garment up a little bit would be an elastic waistband. So the elastic makes the garment come in, which can expand to get the garment on and off. Now, what if you have styles that don't have openings? This happens a lot of the time with knit garments. If you think of a hooded pullover sweatshirt, it doesn't have any sort of zipper that needs to be opened because the neck is big enough to get over the head, and the shoulders are wide enough to get over the upper portion of the body. So when we're having any sort of garments that go over the head or come up over the legs, we need to make sure that the garment is big enough to go over those locations. So main points of measure for this would be the head circumference for your neck opening if you have no sort of closure on it. So that means that your neck of your pattern and your garment needs to be above the head circumference. Otherwise, it will not go over the head. Another important one for going over the head would be the shoulder and the across back area. You need to have enough fullness in that area plus the bust area to be able to reach the entire arms through. So if you imagine putting your arms up, putting the garment over you, this entire circumference, you need to reach that entire circumference when the garment is stretched at its capacity. So you can consider stretch in that measurement. What about pants or skirts? If you have no sort of zipper closure or button closure for these types of items, you need to consider that it will go over the hips. When you put the pants on or the skirt on, it must go over the hips. That means that when that waist needs to stretch over the hips, the waist measurement when it's stretched, whether it's elastic or drawstring or anything, when it's stretched, it needs to be above that hip measurement. So consider the entire waist measurement that it can get over the hips. Another critical point of measure to make sure that your garments or your closures can function with the person is the cuff. The bottom of the sleeve must be able to go over the hand. So if you want a really tight fitting sleeve, you need to make sure either the fabric stretches to get over the hand or that you have a button closure with a placket to make sure it can get over the hand. The measurement to check here would be the hand circumference to make sure your measurement of your bottom opening of your sleeve is reaching that minimum measurement. If you're a pattern maker or a sewist, it's up to you to make sure that those measurements are correct. And if you're a designer making your own patterns, you have to ensure it's correct too. So if you would like a free download of those critical points, you can download it through the link in the description below. I hope you find this helpful. As we go further along through the fashion design book, you're going to find many more videos that are linked through the book, just like this one, and they will show you specifically how to draw these different closures. So make sure you follow along with the rest of the series to learn how to draw these closures. In case you don't have the fashion design book, you can find it on Amazon and most online book retail stores. You can also find it through the link in the description below. I'm Gina Renee, and I teach online pattern making and design courses so that you can design and sew clothes you love that fit. If you've enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.